Okay, so let's talk about the positive things that he's doing so far. Go ahead.
Well,
Listen,
maybe
that
he's
was
going to
not a
bring
hard question.
maybe he's going to bring Christmas back to the focus of what it's all about, and not stop the shopping, because he just shut down some of the really ritzy stores in New York. They're right there by Trump Tower. They shut the whole block down. I talked to one of my kids that live up there, and they say you can't get within 2 or 3 blocks. And the Gucci store and some of those fancy stores are doing terrible because people can't get to them. So maybe that'll get us back to the real spirit of Christmas and cut the commercialization, at least around Trump Tower. He's only had a week, and so it's hard to put a focus. It looks like he's reaching out to foreign leaders. Like I say, you think he'd be exhausted, but he's met with the ambassador, rather the premier of Japan, and looks like a number of leaders are coming in. And I guess the positive from my point of view, he's toning down some awfully hard rhetoric when he did the Lefty Stahl interview on 60 Minutes last week. I mean, he opened up the door to, look, we may not build a wall, but we need to increase security. Well, I think most Americans agree with that. I agree with that. I was wondering why we didn't talk more about drones and other ways to control that border. On Obamacare, well, we may abolish Obamacare, but we're not going to abolish some of the good things. Well, the good things are the key part, pre-existing condition, and the fact that your kids can stay with you a lot longer. Those are very vital parts and a key component of Obamacare. So it looks like he's becoming more of a practical realist in an effort to govern. And I hope that's a sign that he was being bombastic in the campaign to get elected, but he has taken on a challenge that, look, this is going to be a tough job, and I've got to tone down the rhetoric and bring in other people and get a cross-section of views. And one of the first people that was Chuck Schumer, the Republican minority leader in the Senate. And as to what, I remember that Mitch McConnell, the majority leader in the Senate right now from Kentucky, said it was a year and a half before he was even invited to the White House. And Chuck Schumer is coming to Trump Tower within days after the election. So I think that's a positive sign. He can't do this for Republicans. He's got to have some crossover. He and Schumer have been longtime friends. As he said before, he's donated to Schumer and a lot of Democrats. And so that has to be looked on as a positive, whatever your personal feelings are towards Trump.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, really, that's fair enough. I think the more people he speaks to at this point in time, I mean, the better. Certainly, the Prime Minister of Japan, given the fact that I think he's scared the heck out of him at this point. One last area, because I know that we got to make this one short. I've written about, and I know you've read about, the issue regarding his, and we've talked about this, conflict of interest. I'm really upset about that. I mean, that's the one real negative I have, maybe more so than who he has the 3 that he's picked in his cabinet. And the reason why I say that is because he is not, based upon everything I've read and watched, etc. He's not, unless things should change, he's not separating himself from his wealth, from his business. He's had 15 months to try to figure out, and I know he wasn't, president-elect or anything, but he's had quite a long time to figure this out. Now, at this point in time, he's saying, well, my kid's going to run it. When he said that during the debate that time, he said, well, I guess that's a blind trust. He wasn't even sure, nor is his daughter sure. So, I mean, here we're talking about, billions of dollars that the family is going to be in charge of, and they're going to be making decisions. Ivanka ends up, yesterday the meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister. I mean, what kind of, I see it. I've said this before. I almost see this Ray Nagin would love this type of situation. Okay? I mean, because it is so close in terms of what his governmental role is and his businesses are What, he's not going to find out from his family what's going on in his own business? You know, everything he does now is going to be questioned. It's going to be questioned in terms of a conflict of interest. Your thoughts? And that's the last thing I have to say.
Well, I'm sure it's obviously troubling to a number of people. He dismisses it like he dismissed releasing his taxes and feeling that his core doesn't really care what he does along those lines.
And they don't. They don't.
Yeah. I don't think that we've never had a president that I can recall that ever had such a variety of business dealings and business interests that we do with Donald Trump. The wealthiest president. He's got so many different business enterprises, from, you name it, from restaurants to wine to office buildings to hotels. And so he's got a huge business interest, number one. Number two, I think that he could set that up. There's nothing wrong with his kids running his business. The conflict comes in, as you pointed out, when his children are also focuses in government, where his son-in-law is supposed to be getting a secret clearance, where other members of his family are very involved in all these decisions, and that causes the conflict. Very similar to the continuing Clinton conversations involving her criticisms of her. And so I think he's going to get solid advice around him. Look, you can't be overseeing and giving advice and doing all this stuff. You got to let it go to your kids. And if the kids are going to run it, they can't be involved in the mix of government. It's got to be right down the middle, divided. So that never concerned him in the campaign. The issue is, will he get a better focus on that now that he is president-elect? And I'm sure there's many around him urging him, look, don't let something like this give you an Achilles heel in your cabinet as you're getting off to a start of being president. And so it'll be something we're going to have to watch in the next few months. Will he just ignore it and carry on? If he does, he's going to be subject to a lot of criticism. But that's nothing new. He's been subject to criticism overwhelming from the press for the last 3 years. And the guy is the president of the United States today.
Right. You're right. Absolutely right. One distinction between Clinton and Trump's financial situation is that Clinton Foundation was public, and they actually showed their taxes and showed exactly what they made. Okay. Now the question is how they made it. That's a different issue, and that was not as public. And the emails, I think, kind of showed that. With Trump, everything's private. And if he doesn't show his taxes, which I don't think he will, then you'll never know. You'll never know. And you won't know what his kids are doing, in terms of the property. You won't know what meetings they're involved in, the son-in-law, the husband of the lady who's going to be running the business. I don't know. He can't be that foolish. I mean, that's a recipe. Like I said, Ray Nagin would love to have this type of situation. Really. Okay, Jim. Thank you so much. Take care.
Well, just the final statement, though, I see exactly what you mean. And again, it's good. Remember that if the press beats up on it, didn't get virtually any newspaper endorsement in the country. The press, in his opinion, was very much against him. They brought this up so far, and so far it's not really been a focus in the campaign. So, but I think it'll build over a period of time, because there'll be one instance after the other where they'll zero right after him on some business deal, and it's going to divert from his agenda of trying to, quote, make America great again. Yeah. So he's going to have to do something, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I want him to be my president. I just don't want to have all this BS, okay, that I know it's going to hurt him, and how he doesn't know it's going to hurt him is beyond me. I guess he thinks he's invincible. So, Jim, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.
Enjoy doing it, Steve. Good to see you and all your listeners today.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.